Well, ladies and gentlemen, it certainly isn't often I talk about a story that isn't centered around the whole woke nonsense going on in the world today, but with this one, I do feel compelled to talk about it because the whole Jeffrey Epstein situation is something I've paid close attention to for many years now, and if you've been paying close attention to it as well, as you can see with this video, there is one name you would have heard about, and that is Virginia Giuffre. And this is because she loudly spoke out about the sex trafficking that went on, because as a teenager, she was a victim of it all. She also famously accused Prince Andrew of SAing her, which he denied but settled in court later on. So a lot of controversy there, and still at this point, a lot of questions that haven't really been answered, but we have some breaking news surrounding Virginia Giuffre, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. Unfortunately, allegedly, she has taken her own life, and this is blowing up on social media everywhere for obvious reasons because of who she is, what she spoke out against, and days before she allegedly took her own life, she was posting cryptic social media posts, so naturally the internet is asking a lot of questions. And I'm going to be getting into all of this news and also taking a look at certain social media posts that are going around, but before I do, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating as it really helps out the video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, and let's get into it. So let's firstly get into this article discussing the breaking news that is going around. The Daily Mail have reported Jeffrey Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre dies after troubling Instagram post. Virginia Giuffre, who was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein as a teen, has died after making a series of troubling Instagram posts. Her family said in a statement, "It is with utterly broken hearts that we announce Virginia passed away last night at our farm in Western Australia. She lost her life after being a long-life victim of SA and sex trafficking. Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against SA and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors. Despite all the adversity she faced in her life, she shone so bright. She will be missed beyond measure." Her family added that the light of her life were her children, Christian, Noah, and Emily. It was when she held her newborn daughter in her arms that Virginia realized she had to fight back against those who abused her and so many others, they said. And you know what's crazy? We're in 2025 and nobody has been arrested. Like, just think about that for a second. What an absolute disgrace. The 41-year-old born Virginia Roberts grew to prominence after she went public with allegations against the late financier and called for charges to be brought against him. "There are no words that can express the grave loss we feel today with the passing of our sweet Virginia," the statement continued. "She was heroic and will always be remembered for her incredible courage and loving spirit. In the end, the toll of abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. We know that she is with the angels." So a very terrible situation, and you can't imagine what somebody like her and all the other women went through being a part of this sex trafficking ring and being taken advantage of by all of these powerful people that, again, still haven't been arrested. And just for more context, let's get into the allegations that were being made against Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Giuffre claimed she was sexually abused by Prince Andrew at the behest of Epstein's associate, jailed British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, when she was just 17. Epstein, while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges involving dozens of teenage girls and young women, some as young as 14. If you genuinely think Epstein himself, come on. Way too many coincidences. Clearly, somebody didn't want him talking, and look what happened. The charges came 14 years after police in Palm Beach, Florida, first began investigating allegations that he SA'd underage girls who were hired to give him massages. Giuffre came forward publicly after the initial investigation ended in an 18-month Florida jail term for Epstein, who made a secret deal to avoid federal prosecution by pleading guilty instead to relatively minor state-level charges of soliciting prostitution. He was released in 2009. No corruption going on there. Nah, none whatsoever. I think it just shows you, even back then, how deep all of this went. In subsequent lawsuits, Giuffre said she was a teenage spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago, President Donald Trump's Palm Beach club, when she was approached in 2000 by Epstein's girlfriend and later employee, Ghislaine Maxwell. Giuffre said Maxwell hired her as a masseuse for Epstein, but the couple effectively made her a sexual servant, pressuring her into gratifying not only Epstein, but his friends and associates. Again, not only the men that were allegedly involved with Virginia Giuffre, but all the other girls. How those men haven't even been investigated is beyond me. But Giuffre said she was flown around the world for assignations with men, including Prince Andrew, while she was 17 and 18. The Duke of York denied the allegation, as has Maxwell, who is a convicted sex offender, while Epstein in a New York prison in 2019. Again, He didn't take his own life. She filed a lawsuit against Andrew in 2021, which he agreed to settle for an undisclosed fee in 2022. He has denied ever having sex with her. She had alleged she had sex with Andrew 3 times in London during a 2001 trip, at Epstein's New York mansion when she was 17, and in the Virgin Islands when she was 18. So as I said at the beginning, a lot of controversy surrounding that whole situation and a lot of questions that haven't been answered, and I don't think we'll ever get the answers. But let's move on to this next article now. Again, this was posted by the Daily Mail. They go on to report Virginia Giuffre's cryptic social media post in the days before her tragic death by... And for those of you wondering, by the way, why I'm not saying certain words, I think it's pretty obvious, but you can't say certain words on YouTube, even when talking about serious situations. It's great, isn't it? Fantastic. But Virginia Giuffre shared a series of cryptic social media posts in the weeks leading up to her unexpected. Giuffre, 41, who was trafficked by the late American Jeffrey Epstein as a teenager, sparked a social media firestorm in March when she shared a photo of herself battered and bruised, claiming she was dying after being hit by a school bus. On Friday, just weeks after a string of mysterious public posts, her family tragically announced that she had died in near Gabby, Australia, where she had been living for several years. So this is why the internet are asking a lot of questions right now because of these social media posts. Concerns began on March 30th when Giuffre shared a photograph of herself from her hospital bed covered in bruises with her left eye nearly swollen shut. The photograph showed discoloration to her face and chest, which has been described as severe bruising. And as you can see on your screen, that is Virginia Giuffre there, clearly not in a good way after the recent accident that she had. In the caption, Giuffre claimed that her car had been hit by a bus at 110 kilometers an hour and that she was fatally ill due to the accident. Posted to Instagram overnight, the SA survivor said she had suffered kidney failure from the crash and begged to see her children one last time before she dies. I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology. She captioned the photograph. So she captioned this saying, she's got 4 days to live. Not so long afterwards, she's taken her own life. She goes on to say, however, this year has been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. But you know what they say about wishes in one hand and wish in the other, and I guarantee it's still going to be S at the end of the day. Thank you for all being the wonderful people of the world and for being a great part of my life. God bless you all, Virginia. Following the bombshell post, Brad Edwards, a US lawyer who represented Giuffre in her previous legal cases, said it was a very bad situation. He told Mail Online that they were hoping for better news in the coming days and that he hoped Giuffre would pull through with good medical care. But with her taking her own life, a couple of social media posts are going around that Virginia Giuffre made. We have this one in 2019 where she goes on to say on Twitter, "I'm making it publicly known that in no way, shape or form am I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me, in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted." Now again, this was posted in 2019. So right now on social media, you will see a lot of people posting this. They've screenshotted it and they've cut out the date because they want to make it seem like it was this recent thing and she's only just come out and said this to really add fuel to the fire. So don't fall for that one, but it doesn't take away from the fact she did say, "I'm making it publicly known that in no way, shape or form am I." But let's move on to this next post, and it's one she responded to on March the 1st, 2025. But she responds to a post by Tara Pelmeri, who says, "Epstein survivor Virginia told me Pam Bondi's FBI files are not good enough." I mean, they aren't. They're just public court documents rehashed. She wants the videos and photos that she's seen at the FBI. Musk promised her more, but she's hopeful for phase 2. Now let's talk about these phases because this really pisses me off. So this is phase 1 on your screen, and still looking at this image today, it makes me cringe. You can clearly see we have some influencers who went to the White House. There is DC Drano, I believe, Liz Wheeler, and Libs of TikTok, and they went to the White House and they were given these binders with redacted Epstein information. They come out of the White House, and as you can see, they're holding these things up, they're laughing, they're smiling, like it's something to smile about, like it's something to laugh about. I've covered a lot of woke cringe in my life, but this has to be up there. How these people can come out laughing and smiling, holding these binders up, is absolutely disgusting. In my opinion, It is disgraceful. As this person says, Epstein had actual victims, and this is how you choose to release phase 1 to the most unserious people in the country. Now I've got to question everything. And they're not just to blame, by the way. Whoever organized this whole thing back then should be ashamed of themselves. This is a very serious situation, and this is how you treat it. Having conservative influencers standing outside like, yeah, look at this guy. Nah. Joke. But carrying on, Virginia responded to that and she tags Tara Palmieri, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Pam Bondi, and JD Vance. She says, Tara, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for your courageous words regarding the release of phase 1 of the Epstein files. Again, total joke. Your commitment to shining a light on these issues is not just vital for me, Virginia Roberts, but for every victim of human trafficking who has been silenced for far too long. The disappointment we feel as victims is profound in what is supposed to be a democratic society where our rights to freedom of information in MAGA America. It's disheartening to witness what feels like a dog and pony show turned political stunt. True democracy should embody freedom, yet we continue to find ourselves trapped in a system that overlooks our struggles until it's convenient for those in power. As tax-paying citizens, we have earned the right to trust our elected representatives. It raises uncomfortable questions. Does justice only apply when it suits certain agendas? I sincerely hope that phase 2 of the Epstein files will not follow the same path as its predecessor, but instead provide transparency and honesty about the evidence that has caused so much suffering. Having witnessed the trauma inflicted upon the girl I once was, I truly believe that leaders like Trump and Musk aim to drain the swamp. However, my faith is waning, and you're not the only one there. I hope they prove me wrong and that justice will finally be served for the hundreds of victims, including myself, who continue to suffer from the PTSD inflicted by those who we are told to trust. Thank you for being a truth seeker and for your unwavering fight for justice. Together, we may strive for a government that truly serves the people and upholds the principles of freedom for all. God bless you, Tara, and God bless America. Warm regards, Virginia Roberts. Yeah, just imagine, you're a victim of this whole situation like Virginia Giuffre was, and you see these influencers come out of the White House acting how they were with those binders. Yeah, I do not believe we are ever going to see the files, regardless of what Trump comes out and says. I don't think we'll ever see them, because the people involved, it would be groundbreaking. It would shock the world. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, on everything discussed in this video. What are your thoughts on Virginia Giuffre taking her life and everything that I showed you? I'd like to know. If you have also enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video. But until next time, it has been your host, JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.